What's happening? Hold on, I'm gonna call you in. Yo, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on, everybody? How you doing? Happy Friday. Happy Freedom Friday. It is Friday, April 11th, 2025. We are here in New York City, specifically Harlem, New York, man, the Republic of Harlem. All right, Harlem is a great place, man. East Harlem, West Harlem. It's a beautiful place to be. Innovation Charter High School for the final day of their 2025 Enrichment Week. I'm your boy, your host, LaShawn Sugar Ray Marston. We've been having an incredible week. We've had some great discussions on this show, man. Some great topics, some great things been talked about. And today we got something special happening, man. We got a guest host. All right, one of the students here, young Julian, he volunteered to be a guest host. I thought it would be great to end the week, right, with some of the students. We asked whoever wanted to be a guest host. Some of them, I guess, a little shy. All right, they got a lot to talk about, but they don't want to talk about it here with us. Maybe they talk about it some other time, some other place. But it's all good. It's all good. Julian volunteered to be a guest host. We had a few other students volunteer to come up with the show's topics, with the phrase of the day, the need to know news, the tip, and the build of the day. So super dope. This show is pretty much, again, driven by these young people. I'm super excited. If you know me, you know I love young people. You know I was a young person, and I wanted to do media, and there was no outlets for it. So the fact that I'm able to provide this small outlet for these young people to explore their different roles in media is super dope. From hosting to show creation to production, right? This is all production. And this is dope that we could experience this together. I definitely think this is a great way to end Enrichment Week because their enrichment, they were facing some of their fears, right? From fear of rejection to fear of heights to fear of public speaking, fear of success and things like that. And media, right? Talk show production, specifically hosting, it encompasses a lot of those fears. It encompasses rejection. It encompasses speaking, obviously. It encompasses, success. What happens if you succeed? And, you go from, having, 50 followers today, 50 people who know you today to 5,000 people who know you by the end of the week, right? Like, what does that do to you? How does that change you? How does that impact you? So super dope, super cool. We're going to call our guest host up here now to join the chat. Julian, what's going on? Come on in. You can move your seat into the frame, my brother. Peace and love. How you doing? What's happening? How you feel?
I feel good. This is the first time I'm actually hosting a show at any time. Yes.
Okay. So before we can get into the topics, what made you agree? So I'm naturally an interviewer, so I just naturally ask questions. What made you agree to host the show? What made you say yes? When I said, who wants to host this show with me? You said, I do. Why?
Well, in my personal opinion, I actually never hosted a show in my entire life, nor in social media, nor anywhere. And I've always dreamed to be like a YouTuber on social media and things like that. Well, since we're on TikTok, YouTube, and
Facebook, yes. YouTube, and Instagram.
Yeah, so this is the first time I'm actually on a public screen or wherever. I don't know. It's complicated too.
It's so good. It's so good. Thank you for hosting. It's so good. Take a breath. Right, you here? You great. Your energy is great, right? You know what you're talking about. You know what you want to do. So it's okay to be a little, have some butterflies and stuff like that. But it's all good, brother. We're going to get right into it. So Julian gave us the phrase of the day, right? We said, again, this whole show is driven by the young people. We asked, what is the phrase of the day? And Julian had a phrase, and the production crew that he worked with, they ran with it. And the phrase is, could you tell us the phrase of the day?
Yes.
And what does it mean?
Yes. The phrase is, if she don't use your comb, don't bring her home.
Slow it down and say it one more time. Because I when you first said it, I didn't quite hear it. And then I heard it, I was like, okay, what does that mean? Slow it down, say it again so they can hear exactly what you're saying.
Okay. The phrase is, if she don't use your comb, don't bring her home.
If she don't use your comb, don't bring her home. That's like some old school stuff. What does that mean, Julian?
Well, in my opinion, I thought at first it meant that you have to trust a girl before you bring her into your life, because you can't trust anybody in this world, because they can either be deceitful or they could do something that'll ruin your career and things like that. So you gotta be careful around the world and who you choose to be your future wife or girlfriend or whatever.
Absolutely.
I personally never been in a situation like that in my life, but I know it through a lot of people that have experienced that before.
Okay, so you said you initially thought it meant that. Yes. That it meant don't trust. What does it mean now to you, right? When did you first hear that?
I first heard that from my little sister. She actually said that a few years back.
Okay, so a few years back, you heard it, you initially thought one thing. What do you think it means now? What is that phrase now? If you don't use your comb, don't bring her home. What does that mean now?
Well, I'm not really quite sure on the full definition on right now.
Okay. Well, it sounds like it meant what you said, right? Because when I thought about it last night and this morning, if you don't use your comb, don't bring her home. So I'm 41, right? So a little bit older, and I've dated women who won't use not so much my comb, but people's comb. I'm not using your comb, right? You might have dandruff, but they'll sleep with you.
Yeah,
they'll sleep with you. They won't use your comb. They won't use your toothbrush. They won't use, and mind you, certain things you shouldn't use of other people's, right? So I'm not saying that you should. However, people have all of these big standards, but then they do the nasty with you. They mix bodily fluids with you, but they won't use your comb. And so it's like, yeah, I kind of like that phrase, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
Right. So we got a couple more topics to chat about.
One more time. What was that phrase again?
If she don't use your comb, don't bring her home.
Mr. Motor, can you take a picture, please? If you don't use your comb, don't bring her home. We're gonna move. That's really funny. Tom, what did that phrase make you think about?
Oh man, you sure you want me to go into that?
I mean, we here, brother.
Keep it PG. Okay, listen. Oh, of course. What it means, as far as I know, it's about interracial dating. So if she can't use the same comb as you, you're not supposed to date.
Oh, that's deep. Different perspective.
Yeah.
Different perspective. Does anybody else have a thought of what that phrase means? You were in the group, right? We're writing the notes. You heard it. You laughed. What did you think it meant, or what does it mean to you now that you've sat with it for a couple of hours?
Well, I thought it meant at first, like, oh, like if she don't use her stuff, but if she don't take care of her stuff,
Okay.
But I do see it as trusting.
Definitely see it as trusting.
Yeah, I notice a lot of people's opinions about this phrase is kind of going into the literal sense. Like when I say that if she don't use a comb, they actually are thinking as, oh, she don't like literally use your comb.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, because that's the beauty with language, right? Because some things can and they should be taken 100% literal, and some things shouldn't. Some things are allegory, right? It's a hidden meaning behind it that's not in the actual words that's being spoken about. But let's move right along to our second segment. Can you move your hood a little bit so we can see your face, so our guests can see your face? Second segment of the day, again, this whole show is driven by these young people that came up with the topics. They came up with some stats. Second segment, our need to know news of the day. They want to talk about stats about drug use now, specifically for teens, right? So between teens and adults, but I think all of the stats that they put were teens. And our youth here in the class found these following stats. That 15% of teens have reported using any kind of drug. So imagine the amount of teens that haven't reported using. It's very real, right? Because if somebody's going to be honest and be like, yo, yeah, I use drugs, and they know they shouldn't, how many more people are lying about it, right? Is that something that you came up with? You and the crew? Julian, talk about that. You're a teenager. You're hosting today. What have you seen? Matter of fact, let's read the rest of the stats and let's get into it. It says Gen Z is reported to be the generation to use drugs the most, like marijuana, psychedelics, and nicotine. Even the use of alcohol is big with teens from age 14 to 17. Julian, talk to us. You're a teenager. What are you seeing amongst your peers with drug use, alcohol use, and things like that?
Well, in my opinion, for people who are my age who are doing drugs, is a really, really bad idea for teens like me, since like it's gonna like affect our body and we might like die at a young age, like due to cancer and other diseases that I might not know about that drugs can affect as much as I think. But yeah, it's really trendy today. I have been seeing a lot of teens my age use drugs for like the past 4 years, ever since like the beginning of 2021. It has happened like in my school in TMA, and that's when I learned that teens like me who are my age, since I'm 14 years old, they're doing drugs.
They are doing drugs. Teens are doing drugs, and so again, you guys know, right? You guys have known me all week now. I'm very honest and very transparent. I was doing drugs at 14 years old. 14, I was smoking weed. 14, I was drinking alcohol. I told you guys I was 14 years old drinking alcohol at 8 o'clock in the morning. All right, 8 o'clock in the morning. I would get my friends. We would smoke some weed. We would smoke weed at my boy's house. Go to my other boy's house to drink the alcohol. Right. And by 8:30 in the morning, first class, I'm high and I'm drunk. To the point one day, gym was my first class. I passed out in gym class. And they brought me out of the gym in a wheelchair. I was so embarrassed. And of course, they brought me out in the wheelchair when everybody's in the hallway. So all of my friends, the girls that I liked, that I was trying to impress, everybody see me slumped over in the wheelchair, out of it. And my friends know, the other people are like, what's wrong with him? My friends know he's drunk out of his mind. drunk out of his mind. 8 o'clock, I couldn't even buy alcohol at 14. So I had to get my older friend, and this is where we gotta have better role models, friends or not. My older friend, right? I'm 14, we 14, 15. Our older boy is 17, 18. He's able to go to the liquor store. Number one, they shouldn't be selling him liquor, period, because he's 17, 18. But the liquor store want money. They're not gonna sell it to us, but they'll sell it to somebody a little bit older, right? He should have been like, no. But this is where, unfortunately, sometimes in the hood, age, it doesn't really mean more mature, right? Because we all going through the same thing. So a person, my man 17, he's stressed out, he depressed. He like, freaky, I'm drinking. Y'all want to drink too? Here, drink with me then, right? Terrible situation. What happens is, so again, I'm grateful that I'm pretty healthy, but I know that there were some things I experienced in life, and my brain it didn't probably develop as much as it could have if I was not drinking, because your brain is still developing up until you're 25, and sometimes even to 30, right? So if you're drinking alcohol and using drugs, how is that impacting your brain function, your ability to remember things, your ability to process your emotions, your ability to think clearly about your future, your ability to assess danger, your ability to even assess your fears and where they come from. We asked the question. I think that y'all went out yesterday, Ms. Kimona asked the question on the street, was like, where did your fear come from, right? A lot of times our fears come from our own freaking mind. Our own mind is influenced by drugs, by alcohol, and by all of the other things going on in the world, right? Julian, what are some things that we can do to, I guess, curb teen drug use, to get teens to stop using so much drugs and alcohol? What do you think?
Well, I have seen a lot of drugstores like as I'm walking to school, and I noticed that most of them have signs that literally say that if you're not like 21 or have an ID, you cannot enter this store. Which I assume, in my opinion, is a good idea for people who are like super young doing drugs. But in my sense, like back where I live, there's a lot of drugstores, and I don't be seeing like signs that say if you're what was it?
21?
Yeah, if you're 21 or older, you can come in the store, and if you're not, you just can't enter the store like at all, or just you don't have an ID.
So are you talking about drugstores, like stores that sell drugs that are close to schools, or just in the neighborhood period?
Just in the neighborhood, like in general.
Okay. So you think that if there's drugstores, they should all have signs?
Yes.
Okay. But then I just gave an example of a liquor store that has a sign, right, that says if you're not 21, you can't buy, but a 17-year-old was buying this alcohol. How do we curb that? Because clearly we know that there are all kinds of laws and all kinds of signs that in the hood, especially in the hood, there's ways around it.
So in my opinion, you should have like an ID. Okay. An ID check-in or something like that.
So you're saying the responsibility is on the business owner?
Yes.
The business owner to enforce that law.
Yes.
That if you're not 21, you shouldn't buy.
Yes.
But what happens if a 21-year-old alcoholic, if we're 15 years old and we got some money, he's an alcoholic outside the store, he's 40, we'll give you $20 to go buy our liquor. He has ID, they sell him the alcohol, we still get the alcohol. Well, think a little deeper, don't rush. Think deeper, because it's not an easy answer, right? So it's not an easy question to answer. It's very complex, right? But I want you to think about that. What can we do? Because you're right. You're not wrong. You're right. A lot of the onus is on the business owner to make sure they're checking IDs, right? To make sure maybe you see somebody coming in, look outside, see if young people outside waiting, right? Because I'm telling you, we used to do that, and I'm sure young people still do it. They give an older person some money, go in there, get this thing for me, and I'm gonna be outside waiting, right? So I don't think it's an easy answer. So I'm not asking you to rush your response. Right. But I want to turn to the audience, right? You guys can use your voice, speak a little louder. What are some things that we can do to curb the teen drug and alcohol use? Anybody over here? Jonas, what do you think? You was on this crew yesterday coming up with these stats and these topics for the show.
Honestly,
Can you speak up a little bit so we can hear you?
Yeah. Like they should be near schools, and honestly, I think they should be patrolled, like have police outside of them.
Cameras, police. You said they shouldn't be near schools.
No.
I agree. There's too many dispensaries and drugstores that are right next to a school. All right. What do you think?
About the same thing. I really push that to get quite decent underfunded from schools.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else got a thought? Ms. Kimona, health teacher. What do you think?
So I think coping strategies should be taught. So first, you don't feel the need to have to go outside of yourself to deal with things. I think that's something. Also, the adults in our life play a big part. Especially, I pay a lot of attention to your peers, but the adults in your life, you're watching them, right? So us adults need to model the behavior, because we can tell y'all all day long, don't do this, but if you watch me do it, you watch me, then that's what you're gonna do. So, and I appreciate that y'all appreciate that when I tell y'all the things that I say to y'all, I'm doing it. And I think that's why y'all believe it a lot more. Right, so be the example.
100%.
Adults, be the example.
Be the example. Ms. Kimona said, be the example. And I need your charger, because I did not have my charger. I do not know how I left my charger at home. Please. Be the example. Too many teens are using drugs. Teens are overdosing. There's all type of things happening with drugs. Fentanyl is really crazy actually out there right now. Let's move along to our third segment of the day, our tip of the day. Our young people said, is there a plug somewhere that can reach? We have to move this thing around. Thank you so much. We're gonna move along to our third segment. Third segment is our tip of the day, and today's tip, once again created by our young people, is be your own person. Don't follow other people's bad decisions, and don't give in to peer pressure. Will anybody on the crew, well, June, you was part of the crew. What do you think about that? That's the tip that your crew came up with. Be your own person. Don't follow other people's bad decisions. Don't give in to peer pressure. What are your thoughts?
Well, it's a good tip in my opinion, since it gives out like a strategy for people who like don't know whether to make the good decision or bad decision if they want to follow anybody. Like if that person has no friends and wants to make friends by following what other people do, it's just wrong. You're not being yourself. You're not actually you're just being someone else. It's just being a fraud.
Ooh, being a fraud. I like that word. I use that word often. Frauds, phonies, and fakes. A lot of people, I don't know if you guys have these people around you, but there are a lot of people who say they're leaders. There are a lot of people who bump their chest. I'm such and such. I'm so and so. But all they're doing is following what somebody else is doing. All they're doing is they're dressing like other people, getting no individuality. They're eating the same foods that their friends are eating, even if they don't like it. Right? They're drinking alcohol that the friends are drinking, even though they don't like it. I started writing an article a couple years ago. At what point did we all start liking alcohol? And of course, it was an article really from my friend group. Because if I can remember, right, maybe not when I was young, when my grandfather first gave it to me, right? But as a teenager, when I started to drink it regularly, it's nasty, right? Like, it's freaking disgusting. Nobody I know liked alcohol when they first started drinking it. So why do we continue? If we didn't like it, we didn't like how it tasted, we didn't like how it smelled, and we didn't like how it made us feel. It made us feel crazy. It made us throw up. Sometimes we drunk too much. We didn't like how it made us feel. So why do we keep drinking?
Because y'all want to be cool, or sort of. Y'all actually want to how do I put this? Y'all want to do like daredevil bad things so that they can make yourself look cool in front of people and make you stand out to the crowd.
Well, possibly, right? I think that's part of it. Is right, being cool, because again, we was in the streets real young, and we wanted girls to be attracted to us, and the older guys in the hood was drinking, and we saw the girls attracted to them, so we thought we'd do the same things. I think there's a deeper part to it, though. I think is, like Ms. Kimona said, coping mechanisms. A lot of young people are dealing with, all people, right? But specifically, young people deal with so much. They deal with, again, at a certain age, high school, it's middle school, high school, right? That 12 to 16, 17 years old, when your body is starting to change, right? When the expectations of you are starting to change from your family, from society, from school, from your expectations of yourself are starting to change. When you are really starting to come into your own person, your own likes, your own dislikes, you're able to make decisions, you're able to move around the world by yourself a little more, right? That creates pressure. That creates freaking pressure. Would anybody else over here that was part of that crew like to talk about that tip, specifically about peer pressure?
I guess peer pressure is like so common, and like especially with friends. Like since you're friends with somebody, you think you should be able to do what they're doing instead of like doing what's comfortable for you. And it's also because if you say no to something, it's like, oh, come on, it's fine. But it's like, you better not take it.
You guys have peer pressure to drink? Is that no, not so much? Okay, so it's more like smoking. No. Okay, just curious.
So what is the peer? What are, I guess he's asking, what are the peer pressures that you guys experience?
Peer pressure that I experience, I'm not going to do that.
You have something you about to say, Eric? Okay. So let me ask the group a question. Is peer pressure always verbal or physical? It could be both. It could be both. How about, go ahead, Tom.
I know Eric and I was speaking the other day. It's funny that you brought this up. He has a friend, you don't mind me sharing this, dude. He has a friend that smokes a lot. And so, to your point, you were talking about the other day, grabbing your friend and stopping him from doing something stupid when we were talking about subway
surfing, yep.
Yeah. So he told me anytime his friend tried to smoke, he'd just smack it out of jail.
Nice.
You know, so
nice.
He may still do it, but he'll be unlikely to
do it around him because he don't want to waste this.
Exactly.
Absolutely. That's a good action, Eric. That's a real good action. If y'all didn't hear him, right, educator Ty said that he had a conversation with one of the students the other day. Student friend smokes a lot, but when he's around this student, he smacks it out of his head, right? And then sometimes you got to do that, right? Like I know for a while my friends would try to light a cigarette, so I smoked weed. You can call it bias, but I've never smoked cigarettes. My sister died from lung cancer. I ain't know nobody who died from cancer from weed. So like smoking cigarettes around me, I smack it out their head. And then sometimes it will lead to something, right? And then eventually, it's like, I ain't smoking around this dude, man. I'm going over here. But then if I can smell, I'm like, yo, you really lighting a cigarette over there? And then they're like, make it uncomfortable, right? Because if it's love, even if they're upset, they're going to understand to some degree. Like, you right, but all right, cool. So do your thing, but like, I don't want it around me. But how about this? It's my peer pressure. How about the silent peer pressure? The peer pressure where nobody's actually pressuring you, but you feel pressure.
Being the odd one out.
Huh?
Being the odd one out.
The who?
The odd one out.
Being the odd one out. Where nobody presses you, where we all go out. How many of us are here? 10 of us, right? 10 of us, about 11 of us, whatever. We all go out to eat, right? 10 people love seafood. 10 people love seafood. I love seafood. We're going to all get seafood. The 11th person is like, I can eat it, but I really don't like it. Like, I really want a burger and fries.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But they don't want to be the person who talks about, you came all the way to this restaurant to get burger and fries? Because that happens, right? I've been that person where I want burger and fries, and we had a fancy restaurant. And you really going to get burger and fries? Yes, I am. Right? And they talk about me. But that's silent pressure, where nobody's verbally pressuring you, nobody's saying what you need to do or better do or should do, but you don't want to be the odd one out. Right? That happens a lot in our neighborhoods. It happens a lot in our society regarding drugs, alcohol, sex, any other addiction, any other risky behavior. Right? And how about this? How about this? This is another silent peer pressure. The pressure to outperform. You got people around you, people who you've heard about. I don't know if you guys know about this, but there are parents who have 2 or 3 children, nephews and nieces, and they compare all the time. Oh, this person got 100. Why you couldn't get 100? Oh, this person got, right? And then after a while, you don't want to hear it no more. So you get pressure to one up. So if you could have that pressure when it comes to grades, why not when it comes to the dangerous stuff or the stuff that's negative, right? Pressure. Oh, this person got some negative attention for cutting school or for getting into a fight. You know what? I'm gonna stab somebody. Whoa, I gotta be more gangster than this. My cousin ain't as gangster as me. They ain't as tough as me. I'm gonna show them who's really tough. But it's not really what you want to do. You just the pressure to not have this person be better than you. Ty, that makes sense? You can relate to that? You understand that a little bit? Real life. Julian, let's read. Can you read these stats here?
All right. Here, right?
Yep, those 4 bullets.
Majority of teens being acting up.
Begin.
All right. Majority of teens acting up or using drugs as a result of peer pressure. 85% of high school students have felt peer pressure. Many people give in to peer pressure to become more popular, and 70% of teen smokers started due to peer pressure.
And as we just discussed, all of the peer pressure is not verbal. It's not always physical. It's not always somebody pushing you to do something. It could be your own insecurities. It could be your own lack of self-worth. It could be your own internal pressures that maybe your parents or society place on you. Or sometimes we place them on ourselves, right? But let's go to our fourth and final segment of the day, staying with the topic of our young people specifically. This is teen mental health and drug use. I had some stuff I wanted to read, info on teen mental health, right? So teen mental health encompassing emotional, psychological, and social well-being is crucial during adolescence, which is a period of heightened vulnerability to mental health challenges, and it's important to recognize that mental health issues are treatable. So first, I want to just put out there that whenever you hear the term mental health, don't automatically think mental illness. We think that often. You hear mental health, oh, ain't nothing wrong with mental health, or mental. I don't want to talk about mental health. You don't want to talk about your physical health. You say, how do I feel? I feel great. Well, how's your back? My back is strong. We can't talk about mental health the same way. It's the health of our mentality, the health of our mental. It's not a bad thing. So now there is mental wellness and there is mental illness. Right? But why do we seem to only talk about mental illness, not mental wellness? Mental wellness is like, now everybody's dealing with some kind of challenges, right? We all deal with loss, we all deal with rejection to some degree, we all deal with some things that affect our mental health, just waking up, right? Reading the news, coming to school, right? Preparing for exams, learn how to tie a tie, right? Could propose mental health challenges. You could become frustrated, could reflect on self-worth, right? Like a lot of things can come into a simple thing, right? Why do we only talk about like when it's crazy or it's like, no, it's simple things. Simple, everything affects our mental health. It's like everything affects your feet. You can walk down the street, the ball of your freaking feet is affected, right? You step on the wrong thing, oh snap, it hurts. So why do we not give the same attention to our mental health specifically when we know, right? Because we are going to right now talk about the challenging part, when we know that we're dealing with real life challenges. We know right now, in April 11th, 2025, in the last year and a half, right, we've at least heard about and or read about children dying in Gaza. Now, right here too, but specifically thousands of children at a time dying. We've heard about that. We've read about that. Right? We've heard about it, read about it. People being shot, either in our neighborhoods or not too far from where we live, right, in our city. We've heard about young people subway surfing. We may have experienced a grandparent or a parent dying, or somebody going to prison, somebody being here today and not being here tomorrow. Right? We may have all heard about or experienced that stuff. How are we expected to be all good? How you doing? I'm great. Okay, I think ultimately we're all great. You're alive, you got breath. It's good to recognize that you're good. But why can't we say, yo, I'm fucked up right now? Yo, I'm hurting. I'm hurt. My homie just got killed. I mean, I just heard about this baby that got shot. Baby got shot. 4-year-old Lloyd Morgan in the Bronx, not recently, a couple years ago, at a basketball game. His mother took him to a basketball game. It was a tournament for a young girl who got shot the year before. Brings a 4-year-old baby boy to the basketball tournament. The shootout starts. He gets shot in the head and dies, 4 years old. How can we expect to be good after that? Whether you've seen it, whether you knew them, whether you knew the people, whether you speak the language or not, if you hear about that, how can that not have an impact on your mental health? Right? Julian, we got a minute and some change left. What are your thoughts? What is your take on mental health for young people specifically?
For people who, I don't know how to put this. It's hard for me to say this, but young people who have like mental, I don't know how to put this. This is super hard to say this, but
do you think mental health is important for young people?
Yes, it is. I mean, for people who are like just experience something like disturbing in their life, like if a loved one gets killed, or like their child gets killed, or just like whatever, the house burns down, and they start going through this like stage where they're like going insane and like things like that. Like I feel like they're just like in reality they're just letting their anger out. Like
It's okay. What are some things? What is one or two things that you think could be done to support young people dealing with their mental health? What can support you as a young person dealing with mental health challenges?
My personal, I have no idea. I really don't.
That's real. That's something to think about, right? Something to think about. What can we do? What can happen to support all of you young people in your mental health? Please go around the room before we wrap the show. Fatu,
Yeah.
what can help you in your mental health?
Honestly, I don't like talking about it, so I don't think.
You don't think what?
I don't think. I can't think of a way to help you use
It's real.
I'm
Thank
the
you.
same way.
Same way, it's very real. Thank you guys for being honest.
I'm no judgment. No judgment.
No judgment can help you young people with mental health. Meditation.
Speaking to somebody.
Speaking of talking about it. Sean Paul, he sleep?
Okay.
Oh,
All right, don't worry about it.
don't worry.
Leave up.
Social media? Oh, distancing. So young lady in the back said distancing herself from social media can help with her mental health. Ms. Kimona, will help young people.
Yes, meditation. Go outside, get some fresh air and sun. Move your body. Eat healthful foods.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Mr. Ty, what can help these young people with their mental health, brother?
Having somebody to talk to.
Absolutely.
I really think that's important.
Absolutely.
And hopefully all of you guys have somebody here at school or in your life period that you can talk to, at least one person.
Absolutely. I can't hear you. Listening to advice? Listen to advice. I think all of that is correct. I think if you're not sure what can help you with your mental health, that's okay too. Maybe you can take some guidance from some of your classmates who mentioned talking to people. I know that sometimes you may not like to talk about it. You may not want to talk about it. Sometimes we don't want to talk about it because we don't want to offend others or we don't want to make others uncomfortable. And I promise you, it's going to backfire. I didn't talk about mental health after my dad passed, my sister passed, because I didn't want to make the people around me uncomfortable. Because they told me as a young boy, I shouldn't still be hurt that my dad passed. My dad died when I was 11. A year later, I was still crying a lot. And my sister told me I shouldn't still be crying like that because it happened already. Effed up, right? Young boy, man up, stop crying. So what happened? I stopped crying, right? And then my sister died. I didn't cry. And then at 19 years old, I exploded. I shot a gun. And at 19 years old, I also sat with a gun to my head, contemplating suicide. I wanted to kill myself because I had nobody to freaking talk to. I probably did at some point, but I chose because I was that young. They told me not to talk about it. So even when I had the people that I could talk to, I didn't talk to them because I don't talk about it, right? So I exploded and went to prison. And I promised myself, I don't care how uncomfortable the people around me, I'm going to talk about what's going on in my life and in my world. And now I talk about it openly and honestly. And you know what happened? You know what happened? Magic happened. Now everybody talks about their mental health more. Everybody talks about their mental health more. Everybody. Right? But yo, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Let's give it up for Julian for being our guest host today. Let's give it up for Josie, Coral, and your name again, Isaiah. They came up with Ifatu. They came up with the questions yesterday. They came up with the topics for the show. That's the end of our shows here, our weekly show, our week-long segment here at Enrichment Week for at Innovation Charter High School for the Enrichment Week with the Fear Scared sector. Thank you guys. I love you guys. End of week 69 here. Monday we will start week 70, 344th episode going down. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys Monday. Remember, it ain't getting knocked down. That's the problem. It's staying down. So get up. The power is in you. As always, be kind to yourself and be kind to each other. Julian, thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you. You had a good time?
Yeah.
Peace and love.